Two players enter the final round undefeated here in Des Plaines, Illinois, but only one will emerge victorious. On the right, we have Joe Baka, a relatively new player. I haven't seen him very much prior to this year, so I'm just going to assume that he just started playing this year. Doing very well here. Both these players are 5-0. See if he can take this last one down. Versus the one and only Matt Elvis. People like to call him Inch. He likes to call himself Chai Please. But we're just going to call him Matt in this one. So this should be an interesting matchup. It's one we've already seen play out before, but we got a different set of players, some different circumstances. Everything's on the line here. So let's get it rolling here. Now Joe is playing the Darkrai Terrakion deck. It's just Sableye, Darkrai, Terrakion. Pretty much just a straight Darkrai, Sableye deck, but you also have the option to knock out your opponent's Darkrai's with Terrakion. And Matt is playing Darkrai Hydreigon. Same deck he featured before, obviously. You don't get to switch decks in between rounds of tournaments. So it should be a close matchup, depending on all sorts of things, like who gets a better start, if Matt ever draws a supporter, because he doesn't have one right now, and it can come down to N, it can come down to Max Potion. Who knows what can happen in this topsy-turvy world, in this crazy matchup. But we're going to get started here with Joe. He used a random receiver. He got a Juniper from that, so he's just going to play as many cards as he can before he has to discard them all away. He discards a Dark Energy and an Eviolite. Looks like he has another Eviolite, that's why he did that. He's going to be able to Dark Patch as well, it looks like, yeah. So this is a really, really strong start for Joe. I mean, he gets a Juniper as well. Draw 7 cards, probably attach, and then Junk Hunt for 2 of those trainers back. And yeah, I mean, you can't really ask for much more if you're Joe on this first turn. He's actually going to Energy Switch up to his active Sableye. I actually do like that. It's going to give him some insurance in case he does not draw an energy for the turn. He got one, but that's quite alright. And now he still gets to attach. He should probably honestly attach the Fighting Energy given his hand, but he's going to attach the Dark. The reason I say attach the Fighting is that so he could get back an Ultra Ball and a Dark Patch, but this also works because he can get back an Energy Switch, and basically he's going to ensure himself a turn 2 Night Spear. This is what Energy Switch and Dark Patch provide you with this deck. You just get to do all sorts of shenanigans with manipulating your energy early on in the game. So this is extremely threatening for Matt. He's going to be staring down a turn 2 Night Spear, which is just like the most devastating thing in the format. Turn 1 Night Spear doesn't really happen anymore. If it does, you're probably cheating. It takes way too many cards. Turn 2 Night Spear can still happen, but I mean, it's going to be rough. Now, Matt, he did top deck a supporter, but it just so happens to be a Juniper. And there's 2 Hydreigons in his hand. That means he gets to discard 2 Hydreigons on the first turn. That is the... that's one of the worst things you could see. So pretty much everything going wrong for Matt here in the early goings. I mean, just... examine this situation for me. His opponent went first. He most certainly is going to get a turn 2 Night Spear. And Matt just had to discard both of his Hydreigons with that Juniper. He's got a third one in hand, thankfully, but he doesn't have a supporter to follow this up. And yeah, I don't know how you even recover from this sort of thing. It's weird to think that your game is pretty much over turn 2, but it looks like it pretty much is. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain how horrendous this situation really is. Matt is just going to go ahead and play a catcher. This won't actually do anything because we saw Joe has the energy switch that he got back. And then, oh, actually, Matt, he's found a way to maybe give himself a shot at this. He's going for the Confuse Ray, and this is actually really smart of Matt. He realizes, I'm going to get Night Speared, I'm going to get destroyed, if I let this happen. So I need to give myself the best chance to survive the turn. He actually catches out the Darkrai and confuses it. So I really, really like that play from Matt. Very smart. He realizes the situation. He realizes I am getting Night Speared. There's no way around this. So I'm going to try to confuse him. I don't have any other option. There's no way for me to junk hunt. And I think right now they're trying to see, does this prevent confusion damage? And the answer to that it would obviously be no. You place 3 damage counters on your Pokemon when you get yourself for confusion. So, nope. Eviolite does not prevent confusion. It's good, but it's not that good. So if Joe decides to attack and he flips tails, he not only will fail his attack, it'll place 3 damage counters on himself, and maybe it'll give Matt a shot at this game. So little Sableye was the roadblock in the way of Darkrai completely annihilating Matt this game. Now if Joe has a switch or something like that, he can really just get out of this. But it looks like he's just gonna go for it. He's like, I don't really care. If I get tails, then whatever. I'm still in a pretty good spot, but if I get heads, I get to absolutely devastate you. So I'm gonna just go for that. He has a catcher in his hand as well. He could just target down a Dino this turn if he wants to. I don't know if you actually want to do that. You can take one out, put 30 on the other. I suppose that is a good play. The reason I'm saying you might not want to do that is just you can hit the active, knock it out, and then hit a Dino for 30 anyway. And then you get the catcher play next turn where you can knock out both Dinos. But I think the benefit of the catcher here is that Dino could get stuck active, and you end up getting a small victory there anyway. So I would like to see him catcher this turn, but it looks like he's not going to. He's just going for the confusion flip, and oh, he whiffed. So 25% chance that Joe would not be able to Night Spear that turn. You need the heads on the Confuse Ray and the tails, and yeah, I mean, neither of it worked. And what? Matt is benching a Tyrogue here from Neo Discovery. Alright. Looks like they were playing a prank on me. Well played. That card would not be very good in this situation. It only has 30 hit points. Maybe it could buy Matt some time with the baby rule, but I don't think that's going to even matter at all. But the story here is that Confuse Ray has really just given Matt a shot at this game. I mean, can you imagine if he hit tails on the Confuse Ray? He's getting Night Speared. He's getting destroyed, basically. And he's just pretty much going to lose. And now if you're Joe, you got to be feeling pretty frustrated. Because, man, he had a turn 2 Night Spear. This was like perfect start for him. Turn 1, you got 2 energy on board. And you got the junk hunt for the cards that would get you a turn 2 Night Spear. You were thinking, this is easy. I am going to just roll through like 6-0 victory. Go 6-0. I'm going to win the Battle Road. There's nothing he can do to stop me. Wait, what? Confuse Ray? Seriously, man? And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So now I think Joe is going to take a step back. Realize that, alright, I should probably just retreat here. Maybe use Junk Hunt. Maybe start to power up a second Darkrai. And take it slower. Matt does not have anything in his hand, as we see. He hasn't played a supporter that turn. So you can take your sweet time. And don't really worry about it. This turn he is catching out the Dino, which I wish he would have done last turn, but it's not a big deal. He's got a Juniper or a Bianca, and he's going for the Juniper. So he's just going to decide to do that. He could have attached a Fighting Energy on one of his Pokemon just to have it on the board later for Energy Switch, but he decided not to. He did get an Ultra Ball, another Dark, and a Dark Patch, so he should be able to start powering up another Darkrai this turn, which would be big. He's also got a Crushing Hammer in hand, which he could start using to maybe discard the energy off the Mewtwo. Really, Matt has realized that, hey, I got nothing. I'm just going to put down this Mewtwo and hope for the best. That's really all he can do. And, I mean, seriously, that's all he can do. He can manually attach to Mewtwo and go for X-Ball. That's his only option. His other option is just to sit there and hope that Joe keeps flipping tails on Confusion, but I think it looks like he's gonna retreat this turn and use Junk Hunt, start to set up a little more so he can't fall into that Confusion trap. Now Joe actually has 2 Dark Patches in hand, it looks like, so he's gonna be able to really just get a bunch of energy in play. There's 2 more energy on that Darkrai, so he is really well set up at this point. This is turn 3. 2 Darkrai's with 2 energy each. Of course, he will be using Junk Hunt, but that is fine. And I think from here, he's still good. He got slowed down a little bit. He gets another Tails on the Crushing Hammer. That would have been big to discard the energy off the Mewtwo. He's 0 for 2 on those. But, you know, even though he got slowed down, Matt still doesn't have anything. So Joe is going to be fine. He's going to be well on his way to win this game. Now he's going to Junk Hunt. He should probably just take like 2 Crushing Hammers here. It probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I can see taking 2 Crushing Hammers here. He wants to get those right now to just take away Matt's only attacking option. Because that's really all Matt has going for him. Otherwise, he could just take a catcher back. But he's going to get an energy switch and a Crushing Hammer. So he's just going to make sure that he can attack next turn. Basically taking the most conservative route possible. He's taking the Crushing Hammer just in case. So he can try to remove an energy off of Matt's board. And then he's going to take the energy switch as well. Because he doesn't have an energy in his hand. He just wants to make sure that, alright, I am Night Spearing next turn for sure. No way I'm going to get stopped this time. No shenanigans will stop me from using Night Spear. The Confuse Ray got me, but nothing else. I'm not taking any chances. Grabbing the energy switch, and we're gonna Night Spear. Turn 4 is not as good as turn 2, but hey, you do what you can. So Matt is gonna put a second Dark Energy on his Mewtwo. Or maybe not. I think that's actually the right play here. But he's gonna put it on Dino instead. There are some weird situations that can come up. You know, if Joe catches out the Mewtwo and hits it for 90, then Matt loses the opportunity to really attack with Mewtwo. But if he attaches to the Dino and just leaves 1 energy on the Mewtwo, he's vulnerable to Crushing Hammer, which is not good. So there's really no real way for him to get out of this situation. So he actually does the right thing, I believe. Puts the energy on the Mewtwo. That's your best route here. Now what's Joe going to do? Obviously he's going to play Crushing Hammer. He's going to target down the energy on the Mewtwo. But ooh, he gets a 3rd Tails. Things not going too well for Joe on the flips this game. If there's one thing going Matt's way, it's the flips. The Confuse Ray, then the Confusion Flip, and the 3 Crushing Hammer Tails so far. Those have all impacted the game greatly. Just imagine if Joe got any one of those heads. Well, the Night Spear one was the big heads. You know, taking the prize, knocking out the Sableye, not having to waste time retreating to Junk Hunt because he's confused. That bought Matt so much time. But now, yeah, I don't know. Matt's really going to need to start drawing something soon. That's the situation we're in. And let's see, Joe actually did not draw an energy off of his Bianca for 4 or 5 cards. So he made the right decision by Junk Hunting for the energy switch there. And he's going to catch her out Sableye. I'm not sure why he's doing this. This is kind of a confusing decision to me. And he's going to Night Spear the Sableye to knock it out. Put 30 on a Dino. I'm not sure why he didn't just hit the Dino in the first place. And Matt, he draws another Juniper. Are you kidding me? He's going to have to discard his 3rd Hydreigon if he wants to play that. I don't think he does. I don't think he'll do that. Maybe he will. And if he does, he's just saying, you know what? I can never move energy this game. I am going to lose. So I think he's actually going to have to just hold on to the Juniper. Is that, or he's saying, alright, I'm all in with Mewtwo. I need to try to draw an Eviolite to try to keep him alive as long as possible. And I don't think that's a good option. Attaching the 3rd energy, that's a good option. You definitely want to be able to X-Ball for, it's going to be 80 damage, which is going to be a 2-hit knockout because that Darkrai has 30 on it from Confusion already. Matt does have a Max Potion, which he can probably just use here, since he's not going to use it on his Mewtwo, I don't think. I can't see that happening, because he would have to discard all of his energy then. And then maybe he can try to save a prize just by Max Potioning the Dino, but we'll see. He's got some tough decisions ahead of him. If he doesn't use the Max Potion, alright, he's deciding not to. He could kind of bait Joe into using a catcher this turn. I mean, on paper, it's like, ooh, I get to take 2 prizes. I get to knock out 2 dinos. Of course I'm going to do that. That's probably what Joe's going for here, and yeah, he's taking it. So this is actually like a setup play from Matt. He's saying, you know, I could Max Potion, save the 30 damage on that thing, but I'm going to make this really appealing for Joe. If he has a catcher, he's going to want to take these 2 dinos as knockouts. He's going to take 2 prizes there. It's hard to pass up. I think the right play for Joe was to just attack the Mewtwo and knock out the bench dino. It's hard to tell, because if Matt were to top deck a Rare Candy here, he could just get Rare Candy Hydreigon and go from there and move all the energy off and Max Potion. So I don't actually know. I do like Matt's play, though, not playing the Max Potion there. It puts Joe in a difficult situation, and it puts Matt in the best situation possible. Matt definitely wanted his Mewtwo to not take a hit there, because it's so unlikely for him to draw the Rare Candy there. And he draws an N, so this could be a big turnaround. He could just X-Ball the active here. It's going to be, let's see, it's going to be 100 damage. He could do that. I don't know where he goes from there, though. So I would probably catcher the bench Darkrai. The problem with that is you need to attach an energy if you do that. Because it's only going to do 60 damage. It's going to be 10 short. So Matt needs to draw an energy if he catches the bench Darkrai. And let's see. He's going to go for a catcher. And yeah, he's going to take that bench Darkrai. See if he does the math correctly. He's definitely 10 damage short. So he should probably play the end here. The only way he's going to win is... I think he's going to need that Shaman to win, honestly. Because he's going to need low energy attackers to even have a shot at this game. Now, Mewtwo is already powered up. I don't know if he's going to be able to power up a Darkrai or something like that. It takes 3 energy. We're just going to assume that Hydreigon does not come out this game. He's not going to be able to move energy around. So he needs to be able to know, you know, just kind of attack. And then he'll take a hit. And then next turn he can bench Shaman, attach energy to it. And then when Mewtwo gets knocked out, that's actually going to bring Joe down to 1 prize. And that is the magic number for Shaman. That is where you go, oh yeah, 180 damage with Revenge Blast. That is so difficult to deal with. But Matt, he does get the energy needed to knock out that Darkrai. And he also gets an Eevee-Light. That is huge. That's going to prevent the Darkrai from knocking him out in 2 hits. So unless Joe draws a Tool Scrapper, I mean, he's not going to be able to knock out that Mewtwo in 2 hits. And I think Matt actually is going to swing this one around and start to make a comeback. He's contemplating putting the Eevee-Light on the bench Darkrai, but he definitely needs to just put it on the active. There's no other way to go about it. No, he actually decides not to play it at all. Interesting decision from Matt. I would definitely put that on the active. Just saying, you know what, it's going to take you 3 hits to knock this thing out. You're not going to do it. I don't know why he benched the Darkrai that turn, though. I think that was a mistake. That's giving Joe a big opening to just take a couple free prizes with Retaliate. If he draws a catcher and an energy, Terrakion just comes up and takes 2 prizes, and then, you know, sure, Matt has a Mewtwo left, but eventually that's going to get taken down by Terrakion and Darkrai. So I don't know why he put the Darkrai down. It's just kind of a big target at this point. But it could come back to work in his favor if Joe... You know, if Joe does take the catcher Retaliate knockout here, assuming he gets all the cards, he would be down to 1 prize, and that is prime territory for him to get N down to 1 and kind of lose from there. Now, Joe, he should just probably Night Spear here. Just 90, 30. Take the Mewtwo down to 80 hit points left, and then he should be good. Now, this is exactly why I wanted Matt to play the Eviolite. It would make it a 3-hit knockout, so I'm not too sure why he didn't do that. Alas, doesn't matter. Matt's going to have his turn here. Maybe he's just setting up for the big, you know, Shaman EX at the end. That is the bottom card of his deck. He's probably going to need that at some point, but he gets the Dino instead. We'll probably see him Juniper here. Can't imagine him doing anything else. And, you know, I just don't know what his plan is here. Joe's only got to take 3 prizes to win the game. You know, he'll get another Night Spear. And he will knock out the Mewtwo this turn unless, you know, Matt gets an Eviolite. And then he'll put 30 on the Dino, and then I don't know where Matt goes from there. But, oh, Matt does get an Eviolite off of his 7 cards here. He's still got a couple more to draw. So, who knows? This could actually end up going very well for him. If he puts the Eviolite on the active Mewtwo, that's huge. He could just survive the turn. It's kind of a fragile situation. I mean, it's like, if I put the Eviolite on the Mewtwo and he has a Tool Scrapper, I kind of lose, because then he just knocks out the Mewtwo. If I put down the Shaman with an Energy and an Eviolite, and then he knocks out my Mewtwo, well, then I'm in a good position. Shaman is going to be pretty powerful at the end of this game. Terrakion doesn't do much to it. Shaman resists fighting. And the Shaman EX is just going to destroy everything in its path, pretty much. Unless Joe can power up another attacker. So Matt, he is, I mean, he's contemplating putting down the Shaman. Looks like he will do it. Puts the Eviolite on the Mewtwo. And this is going to make it tougher for Joe to get anything going here. And, you know, if he doesn't have the Tool Scrapper, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. So this Mewtwo is doing, let's see, 120 damage. That's a lot. And right now, if you're Joe, this is getting scary. You can do 90, put 30 on Shaman probably. Either that or put 30 on Dino. Either one would be okay. Probably 30 on Shaman, to be honest. You take your 2 prizes, and you say, you know what? If I draw a catcher, I'm going to win the game. Let's go that route. The other way he can go about it is just to retreat this turn and junk hunt. Hope that Matt doesn't really have anything in his hand. Basically hope that Matt doesn't have a catcher. Because if he does, then you're pretty much done for. Because he's going to take out your Darkrai. And we've seen this happen with Joe's deck a couple times now. In the previous round as well, he's jumped out to a very big lead without getting too much of his stuff set up. He just kind of runs out of attackers at the end of the game. This just seems to be a common theme. You know, he's got a lot of steam early on, and then it just kind of putters out at the end. And this might be happening again here. And I think he's realizing it. He knows he's in a tough spot. That Shaman EX is going to be extremely difficult to deal with. If he can get an Enhanced Hammer or a Crushing Hammer, that'll be huge. That will stop the Shaman from really doing anything. I think he's just going to do some math here and see, is there anything I can really do about this? And, you know, I don't know if he can. It's all going to come down to what he draws, or he could risk it and junk hunt this turn and go for like a random receiver and a catcher. I don't know what he's going to do, folks. And also, he's not even knocking out the Mewtwo. I'm just kind of overlooking that as well. He is only doing 70 now. That is 10 short of the knockouts. So Matt, he redrew the Eviolite. I forgot all about that. So this Night Spear won't even be a knockout. So Joe, he's actually taking the, I don't know if it's even conservative route. He's going to retreat to Sableye, it looks like. He's going to energy switch the fighting onto Terrakion. And just junk hunt this turn. He's going to go for, looks like Tool Scrapper. That's a good card to get here, obviously. And then he should definitely get a random receiver if it's in there. Those are 2 cards he's going to need here. just to start drawing some more cards. Um, but I don't really know what's left for him to get in his deck. I don't know how many Junipers he's played. I don't know how many Biancas he's gone through. Maybe all that's left is N, and if that's the case, that's not good. So all of a sudden, even though Matt has not gotten a Hydreigon in play, he's just showing us the power of Mewtwo. It's good. It can X-Ball. Yeah. It's been around for a while, folks. It's not going anywhere. Mewtwo's still pretty good. And let's see. Now, Matt, he's got a couple Ultra Balls. He has the crucial catcher to get a knockout here. So he's going to Ultra Ball, discard an Ultra Ball and a Dark Patch. He's probably going to get the Zweilous here, if it's in his deck. And it happens to be the Dragon type one, so not weak to Terrakion, but not like that matters. And he's got an N in his hand and a catcher. So he could play the N this turn, knowing that Joe has a random receiver and a Tool Scrapper, and just kind of say, alright, I'm just going to get rid of your Tool Scrapper. I'm going to force you to draw back into that. I'm going to get 4 cards from my N, plus 2 from my prizes. I think that's the good play. You play the N here, take the consequences if Joe draws well. So he will catch out the Darkrai. Definitely the right move. Gonna play the N, otherwise he's getting Tool Scrappered for sure. His Mewtwo's gonna go down. And then who knows what happens. So this is still anybody's game. We don't know who's gonna win. Matt, he's gonna obviously have an advantage here. Just the way things are playing out. But Joe, I mean, he can knock out that Darkrai pretty much at any point, as long as he gets a catcher, just to bring it up. Now, Matt, this turn, he could attack with the Shaman EX. I forgot all about that. He could just Revenge Blast. It won't. It'll do, let's see, 120 damage, which normally isn't enough to knock out these big Pokemon, but in this case, it will be. So he just needs an energy, and he can Revenge Blast here for the knockout. And it looks like he got it. So he's going to put that down on his Shaman EX. And let's see. It would totally take away the play that Joe had of just knocking out the Mewtwo if he has a Tool Scrapper. And this is great for Matt. I think he can just free retreat here, attack with the Shaman, and get the knockout. But it looks like he's attaching to Darkrai. He doesn't want to put the Shaman in harm's way. He wants to save that for the last prize or something like that. And yeah, I don't blame him for doing that. So now Matt's going to X-Ball. He's going to go down to 2 prizes. And it's all up to Joe to see what he draws here at this point. He should probably just promote Terrakion because he's going to have to attack with it this turn no matter what. He needs to draw a Tool Scrapper, or else he's going to lose pretty much. And it looks like he does have a catcher in his hand, so he's going to have some interesting options going on here. Now, he could catcher out the Zweilous this turn and knock that out, leaving him at 2 prizes. And then if he can power up another Terrakion next turn, get another catcher, he'll win the game. The other option is, well, if he can power up a Darkrai, he would catcher out Matt's Darkrai this turn and take 2 prizes with Retaliate. Then he'll get knocked out. And then he pretty much just has a turn to set something up to catcher and win the game. So it looks very unlikely for Joe that he'll win at this point, but it's certainly possible. The things working against him are that he has a lot of resources gone already, and that Matt is pretty much a lot of attackers set up that are going to knock out Joe's attackers. But yeah, I don't know. Matt could certainly win this game. Well, Matt is certainly in the lead this game, I think, just based on his attackers. Joe is at a disadvantage. And the bad thing about putting down that Darkrai is now, if Matt draws a catcher, he can just knock out that Darkrai for the game, because Joe's going to take 2 prizes with Retaliate here. That's going to be a knockout. He's down to 1 prize. Revenge Blast now does a ton of damage. So wow, Matt's just a catcher away from winning the game. He sends up the Shaman EX. Let's see what happens, guys. Anything can happen here. So he's got an energy for sure. He's got a Juniper as well. I don't know how he's going to play it. He's going to play a Dark Patch, but there's actually no Dark Pokemon to put that onto. And now, I mean, Joe's at 1 prize. He's just a catcher away from winning. Pretty much. He's got an energy in hand already. But now, Matt's just going to attach to the Shaman EX and go for the win. He's got a Juniper. He's pretty much got to play it here. If he gets the catcher, it's game over. He gets the Darkrai. It's just done for. And that's all there is to it. At the very least, he's going to knock out the Terrakion, and then Joe really won't have anything to get powered up. He would need Energy Switch, Terrakion, Fighting, Catcher to have a shot at knocking something out. And if Matt gets a Hydreigon out, then it doesn't matter anyway. So, definite advantage to Matt. You can just see the power of Shaman EX right here. Once it gets to this late game situation, it's just going to destroy everything in its path. 180 damage is ridiculous. And, oh no. The camera ran out of memory 2 weeks in a row. This is embarrassing. So, I apologize, guys. The camera cut out at this point. But I can fill you in on what happened. Matt plays the Juniper, goes for it, and he ends up winning the game. Just Shaman EX cannot be stopped at that point. You know, I don't remember if he drew the catcher or not, but it didn't really matter. He's going to knock out the only thing with energy in play. And then next turn, he would just win the game no matter what. Actually, he whiffed the catcher. Now I'm remembering. He missed the catcher. He knocked out the Terrakion. And then Joe, he did everything he could, but he didn't draw the right cards. He actually went for a Confuse Ray with Sableye and got Tails. Or even if he got Heads, it didn't matter. Matt just retreats to the Mewtwo and X-Balls for the game. So there you have it. Matt Elvis, Inch, Chai Please, however you want to call him. He is the Displays Illinois Battle Road Champion. 6-0 with the Darkrai Hydreigon deck. Very well played from him. Joe played very well as well, but just didn't go his way this time. So congratulations to Matt. This was a great tournament. World-class competitors all around. We had, I played in it. We had Jason Kozinski, 2-time world champion. Ross Coffin, 2-time world's finalist, also in attendance at the tournament. We had all sorts of, state champions. We've had all sorts of world competitors in this tournament. This was an extremely tough tournament to win. And Matt, he took home first place Victory Cup. So congratulations. I'm very happy for him. And that's going to wrap up this tournament. And that's going to wrap up Battle Road's coverage overall. This was the last fall Battle Road we've had for this season in the U.S. So Regionals is coming up in a couple weeks. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out our channel for all sorts of new videos that'll be coming up. We'll have Regionals in a couple weeks, so we'll have coverage of that as well. And hopefully we get some more videos out to you shortly. Until then, I am Pooka. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.